Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to look at the forecast for each life path number for the month of November 2023. Before we get into that, this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading where we'll take a look at your actual personal numerology and dive a bit deeper into that, you can book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. I would love to work with you. On that note, I'm getting ready to put out the the 2024 year ahead forecast for each life path number. I'll probably have those out in early November. Or let's just say mid-November to be safe. But if you're interested in sort of getting ahead of the curve and you want to know your personal year ahead forecast, because it will be different than, potentially different than the life path forecast. If you want to know your personal year ahead forecast, then book some time with me. I would love to look at that for you. I will also include, if you book before January 2024, then I'll include any time up to that point. So if you book now, then you'll get the rest of October, November, December, and then all of 2024 in your forecast for your year ahead. So, and if you book in January, that's great too. You'll get all of 2024. So, if you're looking to maybe get figure out what's going on potentially for the next couple of months, then this is a great time to book because I will throw those additional months in for free. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at November. I can't believe we're already here, but here we are. So let's take a look. Life Path 33.6. So for you all, you will be working with your core life path energy for November. So you'll be working with the energy of the 6. So we'll talk about that in just a moment, but I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all and you got puffin energy. And I love this. I love this. I love this. Okay. So for you all, right, 33.6, you have double 3s. 3 energy is that of the inner child, of finding your joy, of imagination, creation, doing what inspires you and what lifts you up and what feels light and happy and joyful and all of those things, right? Because it is creation and creativity. And in order to create and be creative, there has to be an element of play and imagination and joy and fun and et cetera, and curiosity, right? And so there's definitely this energy this month of really tapping into that, like really tapping into that core energy of the 3. Even though you're also working with energy of the 6, but you all really have strong 3 energy in your life path because, again, 33. So with puffin coming through, this is like a childlike energy, not childish, childlike. There's a childlike wonder. There's a sense of trust in life and the world, no matter what you've kind of been through. It's like this idealistic, optimistic nature. And so being able to tap into that and then following that joy, that inspiration, that imagination, that curiosity into the next adventure, right? Seeing life almost as an adventure. And I know that sounds condescending when, you're probably sitting there thinking of all the like very traumatic or very difficult things that you've been through. And it's not asking you to avoid that or, not acknowledge it or not work through it, all those things. It's simply saying life is not meant to be negative. It's not meant to be fully focused on the things that are holding us back or holding us down, right? It's about finding our joy amidst the chaos, amidst the cruelty, amidst the whatever it is that's going on in our life. There's still space for joy, creation, creativity, curiosity, imagination, playfulness. And so anywhere in your life where you're feeling overly burdened, where is it that you can set that burden down just for a moment, and step more into your inner child, that curiosity, that sense of imagination? Because if you're carrying something that's really burdensome and you're not really getting anywhere, then there needs to be a change or shift in the energy. And we're not saying release whatever it is, right? Like, because sometimes that takes time. That's a process. That's a journey. But you can set it down. And so this month, there's a lot of focus on setting the burden down and allowing yourself to move more lightly. however that looks for you, right? Finding your joy, doing what lights you up, taking the time off, taking a vacation, whatever, doing more of your hobbies. Again, just exploring new things to see maybe there's creativity that you haven't even thought of. Maybe there's a new hobby that just you haven't even thought of, right? So putting yourself out there, trying new things, meeting new people, all of these things could come into the focus with Puffin energy. It's just that energy of where life feels overly serious for you right now, find the levity. Find the levity. And that's up to you to do because nobody can bring that to you. It's up to you to do. So, or it's up for all of us to do for our own selves, right? We have to take that initiative. And I think with Puffin coming through, there's definitely this call to not forget that side of yourself, which is incredibly beautiful. So I do love that for you all. Now, with the 6 energy that you're going to be working with, again, this is your core energy. So these are themes that you're already familiar with. These are things that you're moving through or have moved through. But there's definitely something here about taking a really deep look at your current connections. So family, friends, partner, whatever, colleagues. Within those connections, where is it that you feel like you're being depleted, like you're overgiving, like you're being taken for granted? It just feels heavy because within those connections, that feeling, that heaviness, that feeling of burden, that feeling of resentment, that is an indicator that there needs to be a shift in your behavior. Okay? Because the other person you don't have control over. You can't control whether the person stops taking, right? If you keep giving, they're going to take. If you keep showing up in a way that feels burdensome, they're going to keep giving you that burden. Not because they're intentionally trying to harm you necessarily, but because you continue to show up. So it's really, this month is about seeing where it is that you feel that heaviness in your connections. Now, once you recognize where that is, your job becomes figuring out the changes in your own behavior that you need to make modifications to the experience, right? So basically, I'm talking about setting healthier standards. I'm not talking about boundaries, right? Boundaries is a very clear line in the sand that says, I'm protecting myself from you. If it's an abusive situation, then yes, set up the boundaries. But if it's a connection that we want to foster more growth in, more harmony, more peace, all those things for ourselves and the other person, then we need to have healthy standards. We need to have healthy standards that we're not willing to compromise on. So in other words, I might have a standard of I'm not willing to be anybody's doormat, and I'm not willing to, change that, lower that standard. I can compromise on certain things, but I have to feel good about what I'm compromising. I can't feel depleted, and I can't feel like I can't feel resentment or anger or frustration or stagnation within that connection because of my compromising. Because at that point, it's not compromising, it's sacrificing. So I think a lot of these themes could be coming up for you all this month, where it's, again, looking at where is it that you're actually compromising. When we compromise, we feel good about it. We might not want to give up this thing, but we're willing to for the connection, and it feels good. We don't feel like we don't feel like it's a burden, right? We don't feel like we're being taken advantage of, etc. Where is it sacrificing? When we sacrifice, it doesn't feel good, right? We do feel depleted. We feel anger, resentment, frustration. And where is it that we need to set healthier standards? Where do we have to sort of raise our value type thing? And it can be with clients. It can be with anybody, any relationship. Where is it that we need to have healthier standards? And how are we going to communicate that to the other person? So again, being very honest with ourselves, what do we need? Where is it that our behaviors have to change? Where is it that we're showing up too much, right? Nobody's forcing you to show up too much. And if they are, then that's an abusive situation. That's a totally different conversation. But if you are willingly showing up, but you feel like it's being out of obligation or persuasiveness or whatever, You are in control of your own ship. So again, taking a closer, honest look at those connections and seeing where is it that, wow, I need to change some of my behaviors. Because when we change our own behaviors, the dynamic changes, the experience changes. Either that person falls away or they respect our standards, right? Just like we would respect theirs. And expectations are different than standards. I want to also put that out there, right? Like having expectations is a whole nother story that we're not going to talk about right now. But so I do think themes of this could be coming in where, again, we're going to be asked to look at our own contribution to a dynamic and connection. How do we need to change that if it's not working so that we can fill our own cup up before we fill up the cup of others? But that is going to require an honest look at ourselves, an honest look at the relationship, and those honest conversations, as well as seeing where it is that we're compromising versus sacrificing, and where is it that we need to set healthier standards and have healthier behaviors. Ultimately, it always comes back to ourselves. We are ultimately in control, and we always have a choice. Basically, we're not victims of life, right? So we are at the helm. The other thing that could come up with this energy is also, things to do with the home. So there could be a lot that kind of comes in with changes with the home this month. People moving in, people moving out, that sort of thing. Finances associated with the home could come in as well. But again, I would say find your levity as much as possible this month. Go gravitate towards what lights you up. Make the time and the space for doing what lights you up. It's interesting because I wish I could remember who said it, but it was one of those, I wish I could remember her name to give her credit, but she had said, and I don't remember the exact wording, but it's so true. It's like, we put such an emphasis, especially in the Western world, on work. And like we can play once we've got the work done, right? Once we've done the chores, once we've done the obligations, once we've done those things, then if we have time, we can play, right? Then we can be creative. Then we can do whatever. And really, it's like we need to shift the focus and come into greater balance. It's like some days we can work after we've played, right? Like, because there's so much untapped, beautiful energy in, creativity and play and imagination and all those things. And so I do think that, and this is kind of what she said, is play should not be a reward. Like rest should not be a reward. It's just as important as the action, as work, right? As the obligations, the chores, the et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So I think however that resonates for you, but if there's somewhere in your life where it's like you've been over emphasizing or over showing up to work and you're burnt out or whatever the case may be, this month can show you where that is. And then it's up to you to sort of insert joy type thing. And again, that's going to be your responsibility to do that. And that can also be a standard where it's like, you know what, I'm going to make time for me and my mental health and my creativity, et cetera, et cetera. Do it and then hold to it. And you'll see your experience change with that. So beautiful energy this month. And really, I just love that Puffin came through for you all. So I would say, yeah, make ample time to clown around this month and have fun. So, all right, 33s, take care. Bye for now.